Hey, what's going on, you
What's
guys?
up, y'all?
Welcome to another episode of
Dual
Perspectives.
perspectives.
I'm A. Nicole.
I'm Marcus Kendall.
Now let's get into the show.
Let's go.
So, welcome back,
What's up,
guys.
y'all?
You remember the last time we were here, we spoke about the reasons why things happen. And since then, I've been very mindful in my thought process. Instead of always thinking, why is this happening to me? I'm now shifting my mindset to think, what is the lessons that I need to learn from this situation occurring?
Yeah, and for me, even though I already was thinking about what is the lesson that I can learn from this, I think hearing it out loud, the perspectives of others and talking it out just made it that much better. It made it kind of put it into perspective for me, like, yes, this is the way I need to be thinking. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, also, if we're going to talk about the last episode, it kind of links to this one, right? Because, and one of the parts we talked about the energy you put out there or the people you surround yourself with, right? And so I want to dive deeper into the people you surround yourself with, aka the friends, right? So let's talk about the levels of friendship because we see it every day when we get on social media. We see great moments of friends and we see some bad moments of quote unquote friends. You know, one that is really popular right now is the Shaquella Robinson. It's getting a lot of coverage, but we've seen it in numerous situations where people were with their quote unquote friends and they were harmed, right? So we need to dive in that, I feel like.
Definitely take a dive into level of friendships and some of the discernment that surrounds that.
Yeah.
So let's get into it, guys.
Okay.
So let's jump into the level of friendships. But before we can, I want to define what a friend is. So according to Webster, a friend is a person whom one knows and with whom one has a bond of mutual affection, typically exclusive of sexual or family relations.
Mm-hmm. And the part that y'all need to get is the typically exclusive of sexual or family relations, meaning if you got a pass with them or you currently in the present moment sexually active with that person,
that is not a friend.
That's not your friend. Now, y'all might have been friends, but it's another level to that, right? And intimacy is not in friendship.
And we'll dive into those levels later.
Physical intimacy, let me say that. Physical intimacy is not part of friendship. Yeah, okay.
But again, I will also piggyback off of Webster, and I do feel that a friend is someone you share an exclusive bond with that does not relate to sex or any type of family orientation. We are friends because we have these things in common and we enjoy each other's company or whatever that thing may be.
Mm-hmm. I agree 100%. I mean, I feel like a friend is someone that I can trust and confide into at a particular level, whatever that is, right? And yeah, it's typically not somebody who's my family and not someone I'm sexually active with.
Okay, so now that we've had Webster's definition and you've had given yours and I've given mine, I think it's time that we can dive a little deeper into the levels of friendships, right?
I agree 100%. You know, we got to talk about that, right? Because some people just say, that's my friend, that's my friend. What type of friend is that?
What makes that your friend?
Yeah. How do you categorize what type of friend?
And what type of discernment do you have when you're attracting individuals to be friends?
Let's talk about it. So if we had to talk about the structure of a friendship, right? What's number one? Because I know for me, it's an associate.
Let's start with the associate because and I'll even take it before that because you're strangers before you become associates. So what makes someone an associate?
Well, obviously that common interest, that common whatever. I'm knowing you and it's something that is, in my opinion, like we have this, we work together, right? A coworker to me is an associate. A classmate is an associate. Like we have this common thing that we are in class together, this common interest, but that's it. We don't talk, we don't confide. It's just.
So our circumstances basically, because we're close in proximity. Like you said, if I'm your classmate, we're all in the same class. We're going to the same class every day. We got the same homework, same teacher, same group of people surrounding us. And we know each other, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we're hanging. But because of this space and this environment, we're seeing each other every day. I would agree. I can call you an associate because I may know who that is, but that doesn't mean I know them fully.
Yeah, just by association. Right?
Just by association, people.
Yeah, yeah. So the first one of the levels of friend is like you said, okay, stranger, right? That starts for anybody.
Right.
Stranger could be then go to enemies. You skip the friend.
Friend and foes. levels.
Right, but stranger, and then we got the associate.
Yes.
Associate, that is a classmate. Those are coworkers. Anybody that you are associated with, in association with, right? That's an associate to me. Hey, bye, what's up?
Hey, bye, what's up? You just heard it, people.
And then that next one is a friend.
So, right. So, after we're transitioning from associates, which I do also feel like you can go from being an associate to being a friend. Because, again, like we just said, the classmate example, we could be in the same room, but maybe 2 months into being in the same class, we're now forming a bond, right? That's what time we're building a rapport. So, maybe one can transition to now being a friend.
Yeah. But it's just so easy to say, oh, we go from associate to friend. I don't know about anybody else, but for me, like, what type of friend are you? Like, okay, I do call you a friend, and at some level, I do trust you and confide in you, right? Because that's my version of a friend. Also, the actual definition of what a friend is. But, that's my version. So there's a level to that. Do you agree? Like, it's not just, you're my friend, so everybody has this same level of access to your privacy, your thoughts, your mind, your trust, right? It's like, you're my friend, but at what level, if that makes sense?
Correct. I absolutely 100% agree with that. Because again, I'm also one that's slow to warm. So I have to sit back and observe people for some time. Let me see how you carry yourself. Let me see who you hang around. And sometimes for me, that can help me determine, is that someone I want to get to know so that you can move from the associate to the friend level?
Yeah. Sometimes people have seasonal friend, or we have these seasonal friends, right? Which could be during this time of going to school, right? Now we were just associates and now we're friends. And okay, we went to school together and we are friends, but that's it. We're friends because of this situation, and that it's a seasonal friend, right? We all know back in school, it's like, oh, I got classes with Ashley. Da, 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 da. Now we all best friends, right? And then the next semester, we don't got the same schedule. We're not friends anymore.
Because we're not seeing each other every day.
No.
We're not keeping up with that communication.
No, we work at this same job together. Ha ha ha, we do it. As soon as Bobby leave the job, then you don't even hear from them no more. That was a seasonal friend, okay? You're down and depressed and you got down and depressed friends. Guess what? Yes, that is a seasonal friend, because as soon as you come out of the situation from being down and depressed, they are still there. They're no longer your friend. Same thing when people are happy.
Yes.
When you are happy and you're jolly and you're doing all of this and your friends are depressed and you used to be like that, once again, it's that transition.
So I think that comes with evolving, I think we can all say too, and the seasonal piece. And again, it could just be maybe you're into a hobby, but if you stop enjoying that hobby and you stop doing it, are you still speaking to those people that maybe you used to knit with or hoop with or do whatever with? Like,
that's a good point. A lot of the times, right? Because I know for me, going to the gym and different activities, different hobbies, it is like you meet these group of people, but it's because of this common interest, right? And if you don't keep up with that common interest, maybe those people will fade, because that's what you share. That's that bond that we share together. That's what I meant about the different types and levels. It's like, okay, you're my friend, but you can't be at the same level as someone that's higher than a seasonal friend, right? Like a close friend or something like that,
So I love that. Again, we're moving through transitions. We know what the associate is. We know what the seasonal friends are. We know what friends are. But then I do feel like the title of best friend, everyone does not get.
No.
And that truly comes with time. And it comes with being in your ups, your downs, your transitions of life. And I do feel like there needs to be a limit on who you consider a best friend.
Yeah.
Anybody could be a seasonal friend. Anybody could be an associate. Anybody can be a friend. But a best friend, I do feel like time, rapport, experiences, barriers, all of those things determine who truly is the best friend.
Yeah. And I mean, before you get to the best friend level, I feel like there's a step before that, right? We got the friends and we got those seasonal friends, but then you might just be my close friend. And it is what you said. It's like, I trust you. I confide in you. We share more than this seasonal common interest, right? It's more than we just have this hobby together or whatever. It is that truly in life, I care about your well-being. I want to be there for your accomplishments. I want to be a supportive friend and be there for you.
I absolutely agree, because now we're transitioning from, not only were you an associate, then you were a seasonal friend, but maybe you've spent a lot of time together. So now that friendship is progressing to now you're a close friend, right? And for that to happen, I'm assuming that maybe there's some level of trust being built or some level of your guard coming down. So yeah, maybe, and again, we all know that comes with time. You don't just wake up tomorrow and, oh, this my close friend, or this my...
So you saying when it comes to progressing from these friendships or the different levels, it comes with time. So you're saying
Absolutely.
that you can't just be my close friend and we've been knowing each other for 3 months.
Yeah, I think it comes with time, trust, rapport being built.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely feel like...
And experience, of course. Experiences do, I think, build bonds.
Yeah. Yeah. The experience piece, right? Because I need to see how you interact in different situations.
Correct.
If you're gonna be. Also, I feel like with the close friends, it is another level, right? As a seasonal friend, we share this common interest. As a close friend, I don't care about that one interest. I share multiple interests with you now. I actually care about you and your well-being. I'm interested in you. And I think that's the difference between a seasonal friend and a close friend, is that I'm not just invested in you and this thing that we have together. I'm invested in every aspect of you that, that I care about. That's what makes you a close friend. But I do think that there's boundaries with close friends too.
Absolutely. Although you do have friends that may be close, I don't feel like it's so comparable to a best friend, because I feel like with a best friend, your guards are fully down. You are fully open. You like you said, care about that person's well-being, whether it's their mental health. You're checking in. You're doing all of those things. And those, I think, are friendships that are forever lasting, that you want to make sure you're good in that area. You're doing that daily check-in. Like, I'm part of your everyday life.
I do feel like with close friends, they're still important in my life, but they're not on the same level as a best friend. And I think that's because there's still some type of boundary or some type of limit that I have with them.
Yes.
I could trust you. We could talk about personal things. I could be there for you in your moments. I could spend time with your family. I could be a part of that, but there could still be some limit or some wall that is not allowing you to become my best friend. And one of that could be, like you said, because of time, right? You just can't become my best friend because we've known each other for 5 months and we've been hanging out with each other, right? I do feel like that could be an issue of why you're not my best friend, but also it could be that maybe truly I do trust you. We can talk, but there's just certain things that I truly don't feel like I can let my guards down 100%. And that's what will stop somebody from being my best friend. But we still would be close. I still would be open with you, but there would still be some boundary.
I absolutely agree, because if I am calling you my best friend, my guard is fully down. There is not one thing I cannot disclose to you as a person. My trust is fully there. The whole nine, right?
Yeah. I mean, so if we had to say the difference between a close friend and a best friend, what are you saying?
So a close friend is someone that I too care about, but like you said, there are boundaries still put in place that I don't feel is present for a best friend. A best friend is someone who has been there through the good, the bad, the ugly, knows everything. The person I confide in, my safe haven, my group of people, the person that's there to help support me, that backs me up, that has been along for the long run.
I agree. I do feel like when people use the word best friend just so loosely, how long have you known this person? Are they truly your best friend, or are they really your day-to-day friend? I say that day-to-day friend, right? Because sometimes we hanging out with somebody. Maybe we're not coworkers. Maybe we're not classmates, but we interact or do something. Maybe we're neighbors. Maybe we do something together, and it's like that day-to-day friend, and it's like, you're my day-to-day friend. No, I need more than just a day-to-day friend,
I love that you made that example to say the day-to-day friend, because you're right. Like, I love yoga. There are certain people in my yoga class that I see in there all of the time, but we might just be those day-to-day yoga friends because we see each other in that setting, but we're not kicking it outside of yoga. So there's no way that I'm just going to say, oh, that's my best friend or that's my close friend. This is someone who shares a common interest, which I guess can relate back to the seasonal friend too.
Yeah.
I have this common interest that I'm into right now, and if I stop doing this thing, then that relationship may, almost fade out.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that if you see that person out in public, you're not going to speak. You're not still going to be the same person they knew you in class. It's just I knew you for this time period of this thing that I was interested in doing. And this is now the result of that if I'm no longer doing it.
So let me ask you, do you feel like you are the initiator when it comes to making friends, or do you usually feel like people are coming to initiate on you?
So I am not an initiator of friendships. Now, although I am an extrovert and I love to be in social settings, I am not an initiator. I'm not going to a conference or an event and hey, let me get your number. Let's hang out later. It's no, we might laugh and enjoy our time in that space, and then I'm leaving and I'm going home. Now, again, I'm not a bitch. Like, if someone invites me out, I may go, but again, I'm not an initiator. You would have to pull that out of me. Like, I have no interest to just go somewhere and say, hey, you're cool. Let's keep in touch. Here's my number. Like,
Yeah.
That's never been me.
I agree. I mean, I feel like just coming from a place where I do have a healthy group of friends, you know, that balance from professionals to my childhood best friends. Like, I've been knowing you since fifth grade. So,
y'all.
you know, it's one of those things where I do have a good balance of friends. So when I do come across different people, I am a little bit,
hesitant, maybe?
I'm a little bit hesitant,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I'm trying to be a little bit more open, you know, and the reason why is because I can see value in things, and I see value in people now, and I'm also confident. So now I'm like, I have my own group of friends. So if I'm going to be your quote unquote friend, or we're going to be associates trying to build up to a friendship, then I need to see the value. So I will be an initiator if I see value in that individual, not something that they can do for me, but truly I see that they're very genuine. I see that they can be very trustworthy. I see that we share some of the same characteristics. I see that intellectually we are there, and mentally we are there. And then maybe there is something that I could see in you and say, hey, I see the potential where you're trying to go with this direction. And luckily I have the skills that can help you as well. I can't do it for you, but I can use my skills to help pedal you forward. And maybe sometimes I'll be an initiator that way. And then other times I won't be an initiator. I will be initiated as far as somebody coming to be my friends. And then I can evaluate, well, what is the benefit of me being in this person's life, and vice versa, right? What is the benefit of me, of them being in my life? And so I think that if I'm being initiated, I quickly evaluate it. And then if I'm the initiator, I've already evaluated it and then said, you are somebody of value.
I love the way you put that, because it's true, especially when you're on a new journey, or maybe you're taking on a new level of something you want to learn. So, like, for instance, when I wanted to become in project management, I started surrounding myself with more people that were in that lane, because I'm looking for insight. I'm looking to learn things. And you're right, in order to evolve or maybe be in different spaces or rooms, sometimes you do have to open that door for that.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I can get that.
Yeah. So, you know, sometimes you do have to initiate, and sometimes you have to be initiated. I mean, that's just the way communication works.
Yes.
You know, I mean, if we had to go back over the levels, because I know we went everywhere, but we talked about the different levels of friendships, and we started with an associate. Then which also an associate that everyday associate could fall under that too, right? It's like
they intertwine.
They intertwine. And then the friends.
Yes.
And then we talked about, okay, all the different types of friends.
You have your close friend, you have your best friend.
And we also have that everyday friend, which is hand in hand with that seasonal friend, right? Depending on how you want to call it, that hobby friend.
The common interest friend, if you will.
The common interest friend.
Yes.
And I think that all of this is important for us to talk about this perspective. Again, I already have a healthy group of friends, but there's a lot of people that I see and I talk to, they don't have a wide group of friends. And I always tell people, I don't feel like you have to have a ton of friends.
No.
I don't believe that there is a limit on how many friends you have, unless it is your best friends. then you cannot have a ton of best friends. You can't have a ton of close friends, right? How could you add value to all of them if you got a ton of them?
You will spread yourself thin trying to have 10 best friends. And it's like, can you truly be there for 10 different people in 10 different moments? And what if 2 people are going through really dark times? How do you split that time? And then also keep time for yourself as well. So it's like, I don't, and I will say, I don't like to hear people say they have best friends and then you look up, it's 100 different best friends, and then you look back again, they fell out, they're not even talking no more. Please choose best friend titles carefully. Like, everyone cannot be a best friend. Everyone could be a friend. Everybody could be associate. Everybody could be day to day. And don't let me tell you how to live your life. If that's what you choose, that is fine. But I do want people to kind of approach that with a certain discernment when you are calling someone a best friend. Because in doing so, I think it will prevent certain situations from happening, or even, the backstabbings and the take time to observe, take time to listen, take time to see how they operate in their day-to-day before you just throw that title on there.
And, so many people are so quick to use the word friend, and they also are quick to say best friend. And sometimes they are mistaking other types of friend as a best friend. They're saying they seasonal and everyday friend is their friend. They're saying they close friend is their best friend. They're saying that they mama they best friend. Everybody is your best friend. And it's almost like everybody cannot be your best friend. You know what I mean?
It's some type of genuineness will not lie with everyone. Everyone will not have that it thing, that's what makes them different.
Yeah, absolutely. So I definitely want everybody to listen to this podcast, and I want them to take away that, hey, that was just their perspectives on the different levels of friendships, what they identify as friends, right? You might have a different verbiage of what you call the friends.
And we want to hear it.
We want to hear it. We want to know about it.
Please.
Right?
Offer us a different perspective. We welcome that. That is the purpose of this podcast.
That's true. I mean, we want to know your perspective. We want to know, do you even think about friends in different type of ways? Do you group them all together? If you do, maybe you need to stop doing that. If you don't, how do you do it? I want to know in details of your perspective.
Does that link to something? I mean, or maybe possibly you were only child, or maybe you didn't grow up with other people your age. What is it?
Yeah.
Just because this is a place of understanding, so we welcome no judgment. It's a place of understanding. Right,
because again, our perspective is coming from 2 individuals that have a nice group of friends. Yeah. We've been friends for a long time.
Over 20 years.
We've been successful. We've had other friends that have been able to join us over the way. And I just feel like that's from our perspective. But you're right about that. What if I was a single child too, right? Then maybe I yearn for
that
friendship.
Belonging.
Or maybe I'm a loner and I don't yearn for friendship, right? I need to be initiated. I don't go and seek for friends. They seek me.
Right.
They seek me. So with that being said, the perspective of the day is,
do you have discernment when it comes to considering friendships? For me, I would like to think that my discernment is good. As we've stated earlier in the show, my same group of friends have been my group of friends for a very long time. Yeah. And again, anyone else that falls outside of that best friend category, I have the close friends, I have the seasonal friends, I have the day-to-day friends. But my best friends have been the same people for a very long time.
I do have a good discernment of friends because I feel like before you even became my friend, I would have scoped you out as an associate. So I do have good discernment of friendships.
I passed the test, y'all.
History has shown and proven it. So how about that? But we want to know your perspective. So please comment and let us know.
And don't forget to listen to our episodes on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Comment, like, and subscribe on our YouTube page.
And if you're not following us already, make sure you follow us on Instagram at Dual Perspectives Podcast.
Until next time, this is
Dual Perspectives.